I'm going live. Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So, hey, if anybody wants to call in, call in. I thought I was going to have a whiteboard set up. It's more of a yellow board. It looks pretty terrible. In fact, maybe I can show it to you, maybe not. So today we can talk about any subject, but I was going to talk about real estate or how to make money in a recession. I've been through several of them over the last 42 years, and it always comes back to the same thing. In fact, I was looking at this video, Alex Hormozy video. There's this one he's got on the season of No, and then he had this one on.
This is the blueprint to becoming a millionaire, and I'm going to walk you through the levels to becoming one.
Which I can't say I've ever watched a whole video of Alex Hormozy, and I barely even watched what I watched of this one. But I know he's a successful guy. I guess he started with he made a big successful gym. But there's a lot easier way than what he described to make $1 million. And I can back it up with proof because I'm telling you the easiest way to make $1 million is with real estate. And I have, a lot of my mentees, if those of you that are new here, by the way, I've been buying and selling real estate for 42 years. I have a mentorship, and I have many millionaires in my mentorship, became real estate millionaires in my mentorship. Some in less than 18 months, others, 2.5 years roughly. So that's been pretty cool. But what I want to talk about is how I would make money right now. And one of the easiest way to money is don't forget the power of used. And look on Earth here, right? Everything you're looking at here has been used before, right? These crops that you see here, before they were run by, perfect autonomous tractors and vehicles, the way they run things today, they were run by farmers 100 years ago. In other words, the land's passed, it's changed hands. And the same goes for, all the houses and, everything that you see, everything down here. In fact, Charles Gibbons wrote a book called, Charles Gibbons was the author. Maybe one of you guys remember Charles Gibbons. He actually died of cancer, unfortunately. But wealth without risk. And one of his whole things was he would tell you to buy a property or buy the car of your dreams used, right? Buy the car of your dream used, and you'll pay a fraction of it. If you can just buy it a couple years old, it'll be just as luxurious as it ever was. It's just going to, cost you about half. And I guess I better keep an eye. Yeah. So if anybody wants to call in, we can talk about this stuff. But so let me just explain on the power of use. In fact, listen, I got a whiteboard that looks absolutely hideous, but I'm going to try it for you. We have some major filter problem here. But hey, if you'd like to call in. But I'm going to go to the whiteboard because listen, there's so many young people out there that don't know what to do. There's a lot of people that are worried about their jobs are going to be gone with AI, and I understand that. I can tell you, realtors actually, real estate agents, I hate to say it, they're in trouble. They're in trouble even if things were normal, but I see a future, where there's a lot of middleman stuff getting taken out of the equation. And realtors is one of them. Just like Amazon. Most stores have become a showroom for Amazon, where people go look at it, and if they want it, then they order it online. It's terrible. It's cruel. It's horrible. And I use Amazon, but I'm not a fan of that model. Hey, by the way, if you just got here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain to you exactly what I would do if I was a young man, even if I was just somebody that didn't have money and I want to make my first $1 million. So I'm going to turn you over here and give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below. FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face to face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years. All right, so look, maybe I'll jump to the whiteboard here. And in the meantime, if anybody does want to call in, that would be great. And like, what are you afraid of? What are you worried about? I can tell you, everybody's slow. You guys know I'm in jiu-jitsu, and I love jiu-jitsu. And many of the people that, I just wrestle with so many different people, have completely different. It's just no bounds. I've got statisticians, I've got lawyers, I've got cops and firemen who I love. The cops really don't get near enough credit, and I wish it wasn't that way. But hey, Russ, glad you're in here, buddy. Jermon, nice to see you in here. Clint as well. I'm going to go to the whiteboard here, and what I'm going to talk about, because really all I really care about more than anything, because I've made it. I'm far beyond I ever thought where I'd be. But, and not everybody can jump into real estate, and also I got a great interview coming of a guy that is the anonymous wholesaler, but he's dealt with some of the fake gurus, and he kind of reveals a lot of the stuff that he's aware of, at least according to him. You guys can judge that for yourself. So look, let's go to the whiteboard here, and it's going to be more of a greenish red yellow board, but let's just try it. Oh, hey son, where is that board? Okay, there we go. So give me a second here. So I guess I'm going to use this because the red is symbolic for people that are in the red. So here's what I want you to hold on to. I started in real estate at 19. I was offered $20,000 more for the property than I just paid for it back in 1981. So of course that'd be like you being offered about $60,000 for something that you didn't even own, really. I mean, I just closed it, but the fact is, I was able to walk into a property with $500, and I could have actually leased the property to somebody else, really temporarily, for 6 months, and I could have pocketed almost as much. But so we'll just call this, what to do to make money right now, right? In a recession, in 2024, right? So if you're not aware, cars values are dropping, house values are dropping in most places. There's some exceptions to that. Not everybody is hurting. There's places that are doing quite well. I'm in an area that isn't suffering too much. There's a lot of high tech, but the bottom line is, some people like to argue in politics that there's no such thing as trickle down, which is pure bullshit. Everything does trickle down. When you're building, when you're growing and spending money, it trickles down. That's why they threw all that money, that money into the stimulus, because they know it trickles down. They spend it. It really kind of proves the point that trickle down. When people have money, they spend it. It trickles down. But of course, this mess the government made threw us into this inflation. But what to do to make money? Number one, buy something. Okay, buy something. But here's the criteria, right? Here's the criteria for buying something. Okay, number one, it must. Tell me if you guys can read that. I'll make this a little bigger, actually. Go a little thicker. Okay, it must be used. Now why? Listen, if you go buy something new, your markup is going to be very limited. It's going to be limited by whatever your competitor has to offer. In other words, everywhere we can buy the same stuff from brand new from manufacturers of any kind, of any sort of thing. But the problem is that we're all left with the same little margin to play with. And then if you add Amazon on top of it, they can just sell it for peanuts, make nothing until they get rid of their competition, which is a strategy, by the way, is give stuff away in order to kill your competition and put them out of business. I've actually applied that myself in some instances, but we won't talk about that right now. So it must be used. Now, the reason is if it's used, it can be completely paid for. And if it's completely paid for, it means it can be sold for less, right? Now, I'll give you an example. In fact, if I could turn the camera on, I'd show you a scissor lift. I have a scissor lift in the studio that takes me up. I can, clean the outside of gutters. I can change lights in my warehouses. But the key thing about used is, in that there, I bought that for $4,000 at a time when it was worth probably $12,000. It's probably worth $4,000 now, but it's still like brand new. But so buy something used, okay? It's helpful to know the product, right? I mean, know what you're buying, okay? You have to know the product. I tell it in my class, in my real estate class, I teach everybody, you got to know value. Well, that goes for everything. So I had a time once where I was looking for a lathe. I like machines. I've had a machine shop before. And, you're looking at a lathe. The lathe is $50,000 new, so you're looking for, actually, even more, some of them. I mean, this is for a manual lathe. Well, I'm looking for a specific a manual lathe that costs about $50,000 new, and I find one for $6,000. Fantastic deal. It's in Michigan. I order it. It's on its way. And then what happens? I'm always looking. So then a local auction comes up, one that didn't hit the internet, and it was just locally advertised. I go in there, I walk in there, and I couldn't believe it. There was a lathe that it looked like brand new. In fact, the whole shop looked like it was brand new. Everything in the place looked brand new. It was brand new. It was much better than what I just ordered. It had about $10,000 worth of tooling. And I said, how much? They said $3,000. I said, here, I'll take it. I paid cash for it immediately, paid $3,000 with about $10,000. But the lathe itself was worth about $20,000 sitting there. So meanwhile, I got that lathe all set up, all in my shop. Everything's beautiful. And now I've got the other one arriving. Well, before the other one arrives, I put an ad in the local, Craigslist, and I get a guy 30 miles away. He says, man, I've been looking everywhere for this. And he come over and he bought it from me for $12,000. So I sold it to him for $12,000. I made $6,000 on the lathe that I hadn't even received it yet. I mean, when I received it, it went straight to him. But I made $6,000 on that one, which of course, paid for my lathe plus put $3,000 in my pocket. Now, that could only happen if I sought out and looked to buy things that were used. The other criteria really, be used. So I'm going to write here, no value. Okay, so I'll tell you another thing I bought. I bought a fire truck one time. I bought a ladder truck, the one kinds that go up 10 stories. It was an American LaFrance ladder truck. It went up on an auction, and I bought it. Actually, it was a kind of a blind auction. You submit your offer, and then you see who gets it. Now, in this case, this was, I'm just going to list it, just might as well. So this was a fire truck. I'm getting a little bit off the scent. This was actually what they call a ladder truck. Okay, this is a ladder truck that cost about, I think it was like $500,000, right? $500K. Now, I see this thing's for sale. Now, what do? I get a very quick education on ladder trucks. They have to be certified safe, right? Because this is a hell of a machine, right? 10 stories. Let me tell you, thing goes up 10 stories. It's pretty scary. I wouldn't want to be the guy on that truck. But so what do? I don't know anything about them, so I call the station where the ladder truck came from. I knew that it came out of came out of Plano, Texas. So I call Plano, Texas. I talked to the guy, the mechanics in the shop, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, I know that truck." He goes, "That's a good truck." He goes, and we just certified it. We just recertified it. And I go, "Really?" And then he explained the whole certification process to me. And I said, "Hey, I tell you what, if I made an offer on this thing, if I get it, will you drive it to me?" Because I was in Austin, Texas. And he said, "Sure." So I know this truck is certified. That's something nobody else really knows, or at least I don't think they know. And I make an offer, and I get this thing for, I think I got it for $10,700. $10,700, right? Now, $500K is the new price. But there is a whole market for used fire trucks, because not every little city can afford a $500,000. In fact, Mexico, I thought it was going to go to Mexico originally, because Mexico is a huge source for buying used equipment of all kinds, by the way, all kinds. And I've made money with all kinds of different equipment that way. So a ladder truck for $500K, I get for $10,700, and then I find a fire truck broker. There's actually fire truck brokers. And the fire truck broker, he said he knew somebody, and he turned me over to Ponca City, Oklahoma. Ponca City, Oklahoma, they wanted a ladder truck. They bought this truck from me for $30,000. Okay, so first thing I had to do was paid for it. The gentleman at the fire department in Plano, Texas, he drove it to me. I gave him $200 and flew him back home. It's just a quick half-hour trip. And then these guys came and looked at the truck, took the truck, paid me $30,000, and I think I gave the broker like $3,000 or $4,000. But anyways, I made $16,000 with, and I don't think I spent an hour on this thing, really. Overall, it was make the bid, make a phone call, say, what the hell, I'll buy it, bought it, had it delivered, and, anyways. So, that was a quick and easy, say, $15,000. And I've done it with numerous other things. You could even take it to, scenography machines. Think about what you know. A lot of people don't realize how much they can capitalize on what you know. Like, I wish I knew jewelry. I wish I knew diamonds, right? I mean, I bought a couple of them, of course, something to being married. But so other things to consider. If you're in a small area, think small but valuable, right? So think of something small that's very valuable that you can resell for more. That's why I like rings. In other words, you could put $1 million worth of rings, in a safe deposit box at the bank. Make your deal and pull it out, and you could sell it inside the vault to somebody that is interested. So you got to consider room, right? A fire truck is a pretty big deal. So I wouldn't, and it rolls. At least it moves. But there's some kinds of equipment like that lathe. The lathe I told you, that requires a forklift. So you got to be careful stuff like that. So small and valuable is very good. Now, and I say this is good for anybody. I don't care if you're young, or if you can create something yourself. If you make something yourself, if you're lucky enough to have invented something, I've actually invented some things that sold well too. But small and valuable, very important, because it doesn't take a lot of room. You can take it with you. It's not hard to show. Anyways, any comments out there? Let me know. I'm going back to the desk. All right. So, anyways, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, guys, but you'd be happy to share them. You can call in, by the way, 424-866-7929. There's just, even when I was a little kid, we were pretty poor, but I would run to the and this is a little different deal, but I would go to the store, the local store, and I would buy like an entire box, of 24 lollipops, and In these lollipops, they had winners. If you pulled it open and say it's a winner, you'd get another lollipop. Of course, as a kid, I'd open them all, find all the winners, get another lollipop, and box them up, take them to school. And I was lucky in as much as I had a school where they actually mixed the students with high schoolers. So I'm like in third grade, and for whatever reason, we have high schoolers that we're passing in the hallway. And high schoolers are like rich, right? They could pay 25 cents for a 5-cent lollipop. And so I remember fondly reselling candy at 5 times what it cost. But again, don't lose sight of the used. You buy something used, you can make a ton of money because it's just the option you have with something that you don't have any other way. You just don't have it any other way. So, how about you, Russ? You still out there, Liam? Okay. Yeah, Liam says the whiteboard was tripping him out. Yeah, I didn't love it either, but I went ahead and ran with it, right? If you're in the red, you need to make some money. Anyways, Liam, always good to see you in here. Let's see. Mender Mom, hello from Colorado. Hey, welcome. Glad you're here. Tori, good. Oh, good, Tori. Glad you guys could read it. Sorry it was so horrible colored, but oh well. An LSD trip, huh? Interesting. So Barry wrote, Tom quit school before permanent classes began. LOL. How funny. I can hardly read it, Maria, actually. Oh, penmanship. Yeah, that's true. I don't even know if they're teaching cursive writing anymore. Are they, son? No more cursive writing in school. My son informed me of that. So I don't know. I mean, has anybody made any money on anything out there? I can tell you I've made so much money on individual items before I even got into real estate. Real estate to me is the ultimate because you can leverage into such big value, big high dollar things that it's, in fact, Liam here, he made $350,000 on a building and he leveraged in with, he got leveraged in with $10,000. He happened to have $200,000 to put down, but he made $350,000. Also, Russ, similarly, he just bought he got a property worth, at least $2 million or really close. We've been arguing about, Russ would, maybe me and Russ were arguing about the values to a degree, friendly argument. But I said, well, because I always like to underrate what my students make. But he thought he made a couple million. I'm thinking, maybe $1.5 million. Either way, it's a fantastic amount of money. But I know he was waiting on an appraisal. So that would settle it, I suppose. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Mr. New. Oh, Mr. New It All. He says he used to flip cars. I remember I bought and sold 21 cars before I was 21 years old. And let's see, Russ wrote, I started off selling pepperoni sticks when I was 7 to 8 years old. Would buy them for about 10 cents at wholesale and sell for $1. So, yeah, that's a nice story, Russ. I can tell you, Falcon, I'll buy an office building if the price is right. In fact, I can show you guys. I won't do it today. I've got a property to show you that I didn't buy. And what else? BW Homes, okay, like Mortgage Shorts changed his mind about what he was writing. So I'll tell you the most profitable thing I ever did, really, even more profitable than real estate, is I would go down, Russ, you'll appreciate this, I would buy a box of toothpicks. Toothpicks, I don't even think they cost 40 cents when I was a kid. But then I bought a vial, okay, like a little vial, right? Looked like medicine. A little vial of cinnamon oil. And you would actually get that cinnamon oil at the pharmacy. I remember going to the pharmacy, buying this little vial of cinnamon oil. I remember it was $1.27 for the cinnamon oil because that was expensive, right? And then about 40 cents for the toothpicks. But I could take that cinnamon oil and I could pour a little puddle, still have plenty left over, and just roll those toothpicks around in that oil. And these things would be hotter than hell, and they were fun to eat. They were fun to chew on. You just suck on a toothpick all day, and it would, they were quite satisfying. But I could make 1,000 toothpicks for like $1.50, and I would sell them for like 10 cents a piece. I'd sell them for 25 cents a piece. People ask me all the time. They say, Tom, how do you determine the value, of a product? If you have a product. And that's easy. And it really applies to everything. I sell it for as much as I possibly can and not have any complaints or not have any returns, right? That's what you want. That's the game. You sell it for as much as you possibly can and still make everybody happy. And that actually goes also for employees, right? Close your ears, son. But employees, you pay them as little as you have to and still make them happy. Right? That's the dynamic between a boss and employee. I want to pay you as little as I have to and keep you around and still make you happy. You want to get paid as much as you can and still make me happy. Because if that's out of balance either way, if you start to look like a pile of money walking around on legs, then that's a bad sign. But if it's the other way around, if you're not appreciated, then you can test me the same way. Say, hey, I need more. And it's like, well, okay. I either pay you more or I show you the door. It's one or the other. Or I know you're gonna be leaving at some point. So let's read some of these. Mr. Knew-It-All says, I am in door-to-door sales. I come across so many properties I wish I had the money to purchase. A lot abandoned, probably get them pennies on the dollar. Okay, Mr. Knew-It-All, do you have my book? Because you should. And certainly you should be in my mentorship. Because you are squandering what is a very good asset, and you probably don't even know it. So be sure to go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. Also, hey, while you're here, folks, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you want, but subscribe, number one. Josh wrote, Tom, I was in the first class that went MIA, LOL. I started with one land deal, made lots of mistakes, and still profited money. Reinvested in more mail and flipping land is all I do now. Yep. Yeah, Josh is also, Josh is in the class, I believe. Josh, are you in my class? I think you are. Mender Mom wrote, I've been a stay-at-home mom and looking to start my life finally, LOL. I was flipping furniture for a bit. That has dried up. I could use some more ideas in the lower income start. Okay, very good. Mender Mom, I'm glad you're here, okay? Because this is for you. Think small and valuable. And I'll tell you, I'll give you one right now you should consider. So a buddy of mine, his daughter, he moved to Houston, but like a real high dollar area in Houston. And there'd be garage sales popping up. His daughter, and this, she's not doing this anymore, so otherwise I wouldn't even tell you this, but she would go to the garage sales. And she would get like a purse that cost $500 and she'd get it for $20 or $30. People discard things when they're done with them, but she would go on eBay and sell it for $200 or $300. I was in a Starbucks one day and an attractive woman was standing in front of me and she had a purse that I almost couldn't take my eyes off the purse. As pretty as she was, I couldn't take my eyes off her purse. It was so cool looking. It was just it almost looked like it was made out of abalone, that has a weird iridescent, the colors. And so I'm like, I go, that's a cool looking purse. I go, what's a purse like that cost? And she goes, $5,000. I go, $5,000? Are you crazy? She goes, that's nothing. She goes, I have friends that have purses, they paid $20,000. And she happened to be from Houston, by the way, and I met her in a different city. But she said, oh no, I have friends that have purses that are $20,000. She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm not about to buy a purse. This was her limit. She says, I'm not going to buy a purse. I'm not going to pay more for a purse than I can buy a car for one of my kids. And she was actually there visiting her son who was who's going to school at UT. So that's why she was even there. But like I say, I don't know that. I know real estate, but I don't know purses. I don't know fashion or style. I don't know these things that I don't know diamonds. I wish I knew diamonds. Oh my God, you make a fortune if you knew diamonds, right? So Mender Mom, seriously, take a look at buying used purses. And I'll tell you something. My sister You guys, I'm sure some of you are familiar with this. I am not, but it's a company called Hermes, Hermes, Hermes. So my sister, this is about 10, 15 years ago, somebody gave her an Hermes, and it looked like alligator skin, or maybe it was ostrich skin memo pad. I'm telling you, this was just a memo pad. It had just plain lined paper in it, about that wide, a little taller than it was wide. And she said, she asked me if I wanted it. I go, no, I don't. No, it looks cool, but I'm not a fancy guy. I don't need an alligator covered or ostrich skin memo pad. So she threw it on eBay, and immediately somebody offered her $400 and asked her if she would just say, "Can you just close the auction? I'll give you $400 for it." Sorry, 400,000 is in my mind from that real estate I was talking earlier. Anyways, so this guy, and then next somebody else wrote her and said, "Hey, I'll give you 400 if you just close the auction right away." So all of a sudden, it started going up. The thing went up to like $1,100, and then for the hell of it, I went in there and I threw an offer at $1,200, and then I was afraid. I thought, somebody please don't make me ruin this for my sister, because I didn't want to buy it. And then somebody took me out. I think that thing sold for almost $1,400, and I'm telling you, it's something that if I saw it laying on the ground, I would have just walked right past it or picked it up and thrown it in the trash can. So you gotta know your stuff. It doesn't matter what that stuff is, but the key is buy it used, because if it's used, it can be paid for, and that's why I love real estate so much, and that's why I've done so well. Of those of you that are new here, please take a look at my mentorship. You'll find out, you'll learn things about real estate that you just can't even imagine. I can show you here. You see all these blue dots here. I just had a meeting with somebody recently, and they had been in so many, guru courses. And I asked them, I said, have you ever seen any of these guys you're talking to? Have you ever seen them own as much property as myself, and as with as diversified a portfolio? And this is just one area. I have other areas too. And he said, nope. Plain and simple. And that video is coming, by the way. So let's see. Knew it all. I do not yet. Let's see. Johnny G. Do you prefer to buy and hold, rent out, buy, flip? Listen, Johnny. Is it Johnny? I think it's Johnny. Look, Johnny, everything you see on this screen, this is how I made my first million, okay? Everything you see here, I flipped. Everything I flipped. The reason I flipped it is because I didn't have any money when I started. You have to flip. You can't hold. You can't hold unless you got to get to a certain position of wealth that you can start opting to buy and hold, okay? And that's what I try to get. In fact, that's always the goal for me with all my students, is to get where you can buy and hold. And for most of them, I would say in general, for most of them, they like to make about at least near $500,000 to $1 million, between $500,000 and $1 million, because then they got a few $100,000 for buying and selling, and then they can take a few $100,000 and buy something that maybe gets them, I can think of examples, when interest rates were 5%, if you get something with a 10% return, with $500,000, you can get a better than a 25% return on that cash, on the money. So imagine getting 25% on $300,000. So you're getting $75,000 a year. Now that'd be tempting to hold. Now the reason you don't want to flip that one is because if you're starting from the beginning, maybe you only make $30,000 to $60,000 a year right now. Well, if you flip, you can quickly get up to where you have $600,000. You can take $300,000, buy something that'll give you a $75,000 annual return. So now your part-time job your part-time gig, or whatever you want to call it, has now exceeded your full-time job. Now you have the option to quit your job. And then what do? Then you continue to do what you do with your part-time gig full-time, and you'll make much more money much faster in a very short period of time, because now you can dedicate yourself to it. So Falcon One wrote, "What mapping software am I using?" Right, you're looking at Google Earth, buddy. It's cool and it's free, and I recommend it. They also have Google Pro, which is really cool. Let's see. The best Steve. Hey, Tom, just finished the book and filled out the survey. I'm excited to get into real estate. Yeah, by the way, Steve, thank you for reminding me. I have a book, folks. Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. I promise it'll be the best book you've ever bought. It'll be the best money you've ever spent. And if it's not, you can send it back for a refund, okay? You're going to buy it from Amazon. Or you can get Audible or whatever. Mr. Knew-It-All says, I love how you say how much they like to make. I need that level of confidence and knowledge to be able to make that in my life. I want to build a community center for the youth in my area. Yeah, listen, this is the smartest thing you can do is make money, because you're surrounded by you're surrounded by politicians that make terrible choices that damage our country, that screw us up. That's why we don't have any cops aren't working. That's why cops aren't writing tickets. I have 3 of my 4 cars are delinquent, they're not registered, and nobody gives a shit. And I drive all over the place. And it's just a fact. Josh wrote, Josh isn't in my class. Okay, this is a different Josh. Not in mentorship. I was in the first or second, started with an infill lot, then learned about vacant rural parcels and took off. Your book helped me see what was possible. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Josh. I'm glad to hear it. Listen, I got plenty of people who've made money just using the book, but most of them, once they start making money with the book, they want to take it to another level, and you will in the mentorship. So I guess it would be prudent for me to jump over and show you the mentorship real quick. You guys hang in there, and if anybody wants to call in, there's the number above my head. I think you can see it. Right? I think you can see that. So anyways, so check this out. This is Flip Anything USA. Jerry here. He's one of my latest all-star, made $2 million profit. And now he's already done many 6-figure flips. And this is an example of him buying something to hold after doing several, or maybe 10 6-figure flips. And he owns both those buildings you see behind him, and another one you don't see. Fireworks building, 5,000 feet. This one you see here, the 2-story, that's another 19,000 square feet. He bought it for less than $1 million. I would love to have I would just love to have dozens of those. I'd be very, very pleased. But anyways, but I have, industrial, commercial. There's all kinds of stuff you can have. If you don't understand it, that's okay. You will eventually. But in these gentlemen you see over here behind my book, which everybody should buy, they also, a success story after success story. Hundreds of thousands. Believe me, you usually make there's a millionaire there, another millionaire there, real estate millionaire, another multi-millionaire real estate guy from real estate since being in my mentorship. Almost a million, maybe $1 million there, $1 million here, and hundreds of thousands. Like you say, it's just the coolest thing for me. And the best part, the thing I love most is I'm seeing men, my age and younger, that are seeing a path to retirement, putting their kids through school, and retiring even early, and turning into full-time investors, which is the most beautiful thing. Josh, the Josh I was thinking of when I saw you, Josh H. Actually, this is the Josh I'm talking about right here. He quit his job. He quit his job, man. Great guy, and he's very, very happy family man, doing well, like so many other people in the class. So go to Flip Anything USA, and what you do is, buy the book, because if you don't buy the book, I'm not going to think you care enough about your future. And then after you buy the book, you take the webinar and fill out the mentorship survey. You can do them all at once. That's fine. But when you take the mentorship survey and you say that you haven't ordered the book, I'm thinking, what the hell's the matter? Didn't you know about the book? And now you do. So do that, and you'll be glad you did. So Law Office wrote, once you learn from the class, you will make money. You need to learn new skills. Oh, is this one of my lawyer students? Once you learn from the class, you will make money. You need to learn new skills. Yep. Is that you, Adam? We've actually got a couple lawyers. Mender Mom wrote, you said you started with $500 to purchase your first property. What does the low-end minimum look like these days? So, yeah, everybody's always worried about entry cost, and I get that. And And hey, by the way, if you just got here, you don't want to lose my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hey, Adam, good to see you. So look, I mean, listen, Adam's in here, I can't remember how long you've been a lawyer, but we got a couple of them actually, but this is smart. I have lawyer buddies that I roll with in jiu-jitsu, one I saw today. And, even lawyers, as much money as they make. And, people think lawyers print money, and they do make a lot of money. They don't always work all the time, but there's ones that just make obscene amounts of money, $1,800 an hour. Some make, less, but they all make really good money in general. But it's not enough. You got to put it somewhere. You got to put it somewhere where it grows. And so anyway, thanks, Adam. I'm glad you're in here, buddy. Third deal already. I love it. Hey, I got to interview you, Adam. Come on. You need to be on the list here, off to my side here. But that's great. Congrats on your third deal. All right. So Abel Lara wrote, I'm in a GC. You're in a GC. And now I'm thinking you're in a Grant Cardone. I don't know what that means. You're in a general what? I was thinking you'd be in a part of a general partnership, or what are you in? Tell me, please explain. I don't know all the terminology that a lot of the youth are using these days. You'll have to tell me, Abel. You confirm what you're in. But anyhow, I'm in a GC, have saved about $100K. I'm thinking of starting by flipping houses in the ghetto. Terrible idea, where I can afford a deal. Would you recommend a partner that puts of $50K of using all my money? Listen, Abel, I'm glad. You don't know how lucky you are that you just tuned in. Never buy in the ghetto. Never. Okay? Unless you if you live in the ghetto and and you love the lifestyle in the ghetto, then maybe. So I'm going to tell you guys a very powerful story about the ghetto. And before I do, I'm going to read these last comments. Liam wrote, great benefit of the mentorship is the Saturday meeting. You can hear what other people are doing. And guys, yeah, absolutely. So look, Liam's right. So in the mentorship, thank you for bringing that up, Liam. I'll just take you guys inside. I'll take you in the members area. Okay, so when you get in the members area, I mean, you go in the meeting archives. I've got hundreds of hours now of just fantastic. I mean, in these meetings, you're going to see, I'm going into everything. I'm showing you, we cover so many topics anyways. It's more valuable but when the bigger the size, the larger. Hey, look who's there. Sometimes. I think I see Adam. Hey, Adam, look it. Who'd have thought? Anyways, but listen, we got several millionaires in here. Liam, of course, he's a diehard. He's one of the diehards, always every Saturday. And most people are. Russ is one of them. Look at Russ, who's here. Liam, who's here. Adam, who's here in the room. It's a fantastic group, but it's like Liam said, and we have far more people than what you see in the class here, but not everybody can be there Saturday. They have obligations with children and things. But when you see Adam talking about his third deal, or Liam talking about his making, $350,000 on an apartment building, or Jerry making, $2 million, or Russ making, $2 million, or even $100,000 or $500,000. It is highly motivating, and you can't deny it. These people become, if you're lucky enough to get in the mentorship, let me just tell you, these people kind of become your family, and it's a very cool thing. And, everybody can share openly, their deals that they're buying. That's Russ's property in crappy old Portland. Sorry, Russ, but I don't like Portland law. I know a cop there that's miserable.
I just painted it with a special concrete paint.
Yeah.
And then the
So
and
anyhow, back to my comment to Abel. Listen, I was in Compton in 1984, 1985. The only good thing coming out of Compton was rap, and even that's debatable, I suppose.
This is the upstairs. Upstairs is old carpet.
But what was going on was there was a tax sale, and I went to a tax sale.
I sent over to you.
And Oh, okay.
Everybody, I mean, it was a very
But-
unsafe
You can see a little bit
neighborhood.
where the railing probably set
It
to cut
was
off. You see the bucket on
the
the floor.
ghetto for
So,
sure. And I just
you go
looked at a
up one
place,
more.
property
Go
for
up one
sale.
more. Right there. Yep.
And it was
See on the
there's
bottom
needles
left,
on the
that's
floor.
the
We actually
concrete flooring.
walked through. We just walked in a little bit and looked around.
Yeah.
And we took a pistol
So
out of the
all the
car after we
flooring
first
there,
stuck our head and we
that's
grabbed a
concrete.
pistol
That's
to
the
walk around in
carpet.
case somebody
They
came in
housed
behind
it
us. And we realized,
with
yeah,
main
there's no
side
way.
bid,
You
one
can't. You
half
don't want
into the other
to. You don't
half.
want
That was
to
pretty cool.
invest in an area
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
good.
safe.
But tenant
But I'm
improvements
going to
are
give you the
thing.
most
They usually expect
telling
to spend
story
some money.
ever is
I'm
that
used
we
to
left
that. I'm
there
always
and we
used to doing
drove
everything
and we went
myself,
saw
and
one of
then-
these
folks
you know,
do
these
it
old
with
gas
commercial.
stations. It's no
Different
longer a
with
gas
commercial.
station. And
Yeah,
now
I
it's a
know,
liquor
which
store
was awesome.
with
I'm like, oh,
the
this is
cage
really
that, you know,
cool.
collapses and opens.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Doing
yeah, let's get a soda.
improvements,
And
I
so we
get to keep
pulled
them
up, we
afterwards.
stopped
Pretty awesome.
out on near the
Show
curb,
this rail.
you know, but on the inside of the drive, you know, in the parking
Who else
area.
we got?
And we get out and we start walking
Where-
toward.
Delia is. Maybe she
Oh,
said
it's
she was
hard to
going
hear
on
me.
vacation. I can't remember. All right. Who else? Almost anything to share?
No, nothing new. Just
All
drove
right,
this
thank
morning,
you. Okay,
look around in my area.
sorry about that. All right, did everybody hear what I said so far? As tough as it was to follow, I apologize for that. Yeah, there you go, buddy. I think it's okay now. What did I? By the way, you get to go back and watch the mentorship meetings where, like I say, you'll learn so much. Like Liam was commenting on. Anyways, so I'm in Compton back in the '80s. Looked at a property, went to get something to drink. You know, this was the ghetto for sure. Every building, the bars, every house, bars on every door, bars on every window. And then I go to this gas station, bars on every window, and the collapsing gates, you know, that open and expand. Well, they're opened up. And me and my buddy get out, and we start to walk toward there, and this skinny little black guy, Mr. Brown's his name, he just comes heading straight for us. I mean, I realize in hindsight, he was trying to protect us. So we're walking toward the door. He's walking out of the store from behind the counter, coming straight out at us. And he catches us. He moves 2/3 the space that we moved while we're walking. And he says, hey, he goes, you boys must be lost. And we laugh. And he says, listen, he goes, what are you doing here? I said, I'm looking at buying some real estate here. And he said, listen, don't do it. He said, look, my best friends are white. He was black, skinny little black guy. His name was Mr. Brown. He said, my best friends are white. He goes, I was a fireman for 40 years. And he goes, my best friends, they bought in the white neighborhoods. I bought here in the ghetto. And he goes, my white friends are millionaires. He goes, I'm working at the liquor store. And then he said this, and this is why I'll never forget it. He said, don't buy black or your money will turn black. Don't buy black, meaning the ghetto, which was primarily black. And this is not a racial thing at all. This is just coming from a black guy about 70 years old that lived in the ghetto, that invested in the ghetto, and knew better than anybody the results of that. And I never forgot it. And he has turned out to be right. You know, you can take a look at, look at, look at places that are ghetto-ish or ghettos where there's fires, where they set the store on fire when there's some bad news, destroys the neighborhood for everyone. People now have to drive 5 miles to get something that used to be able to, drive a half mile to get. It's a nightmare. I don't think we have a video running anymore, buddy. So look, anybody want to call in? We can talk about this stuff. Anything we can talk about. If you want to look at a first investment, I would be happy. You got that, I heard? Okay, Ricardo, I'm sorry, but everybody else hears me. So I don't know why you don't. I think you might have an issue with your volume because nobody else is complaining. Other than earlier. So, Clint, please reconfirm that the sound is good. Or Ryan, sounds good. Okay. All right, very good. But look, so, but yet, listen, back to the question that came from Abel. He's saying, and I don't think you ever clarified what a GC meant to you. I mean, that could be a lot of things. But the bottom line, you saved about $100,000. Listen, I actually have somebody that came to me just recently with over $1 million. And I'm glad they did too. Not for any reason for me other than I told them, I said, you are set up for life. If you do the right thing with this somebody that already has $1 million. I said, you do the right thing with this $1 million, you will be set for life. And so I'm helping this person kind of set a plan up, and that will be quite interesting. But basically, it's going to involve real estate, and it's certainly not going to be buying in the ghetto. So whatever you do, do not buy in the ghetto. I don't care who you are. Do not buy in the ghetto. You wonder why when there's a riot or a place gets burned down, the business doesn't want to come back there and operate. Nobody wants to. I mean, who wants to have to sit around with a pistol in their hand, or under their, in their desk, as a means to protect themselves, to save their lives. It doesn't make sense. Oh, General Contralista.
I think the chat is delayed or something because they're talking about stuff from earlier. I think the chat's just delayed.
I got you. Yeah, like Liam said, stay away from the D areas. But look, I want you to show you something. So look, because this will give you some context. So take a look. These are properties. This is how I made my first $1 million, right? But I want you to look at this desert wasteland. Look at this. It's just a grid of squares of 1.25 acres, 2.5 acres, 5 acres, 160 acres, 640 acre sections. There's all kinds of sizes of properties. And guess what? It's never been developed. It still hasn't been developed. But that little dot you see right there, I paid $10,000 for that little dot, that little land, and I sold it for $160,000. No, I'm sorry. I lied. It's 10 acres. It's 10 acres. I paid $30,000 for it, and I sold it for $160,000. I made $130,000 on that one little dot of worthless land that has no utilities. And on that theme, here's another one. This is in Pear Blossom, California, out in the desert. This isn't far from LA. And you can see this property here, and it's easy for me to identify because at the top of my property, there was a water tank. So take a look. Where is that water tank? There it is. Somewhere there's a water tank around here. I show this property almost. Oh, there it is. See up here? See that water tank? That is the highest point. You can see the rise, right? See how it's high? If you guys can detect it, where my little cursor is. It's the highest point in Pear Blossom. And there's a big survey marker on that. Well, I bought this property, and I'll give you an idea. I bought this property. It went from the street, went from here down to the street, over here, maybe about here. Seemed like it was kind of narrow. To here. Right there. Let's see what that is, acre-wise. Yeah, I guess it was from here to here. It was 70 acres, okay, 70 acres. And I bought that $35,000 down, and 3 weeks later, I had it sold for $520,000. I paid $140,000 for it, but I sold it for $520,000, made $350,000 after the real estate agents got their cut. But but listen, beyond that, just so you know, I mean, there's so many ways to make money. There's so many opportunities. But right now, guess what? It's a little tight. People are going to start hurting. There's going to be different reasons. This is why it's so good to have a mentor that's seen the up and downs and made money so many different ways. But out here, for every one of these little blue dots, I bought 6 lots, right? Roughly between 60 and 70 lots. The reason I don't remember exactly is because I bought 20 of them by myself, and I built 3 homes out here. And then I continued to buy more lots, but I had a partner, and I can't remember exactly how many we bought together, but it was over 40. So, and then I flipped 3 lots and made $60,000, and I knew, oh yeah, I'm done building, and that's when I stopped building. So, Looks like our chat is running a little bit behind what we're talking about. Hello, Tom. Yes, I have your book. What are your thoughts on rural small town properties? Love them. Also, do you think Section 8 will be expanding? Listen, the government prints money. They're probably, it's just disgusting to me how much. Believe me, I've had a Section 8 rental, and I understand there's a purpose and there's help for everybody. And there should be in certain instances, but a lot of people get help that shouldn't. Okay. Anyway, so to your question, look, you're looking at rural properties here. These are rural. I mean, this is like, there's no store. This is a town. Look at this little town. In fact, I'll show you. The nearest store to this place was right here. It's called the Rock Store. In fact, it was a television actor. What the hell was his name? His name is Paul. Let's see, I'll show you this. This was the nearest store right here. It's called the Rock Store. And it wasn't much of a store. It's actually kind of a biker hangout, the way I remember it. And what did I do? I bought from that actor, and I can't think of his name at the moment, but I bought this piece of property, the biggest piece of commercial property in Lake Hughes, okay? The only place you could put a decent-sized store. So I bought that. In fact, I bought that from this guy who lived he just passed away, actually. Saw it in the news. He was an actor. But I bought this from him. I never met him, but I bought this 200 by 200 piece of commercial from him, and I had a partner on that one with me, and she wanted to keep it, so she bought me out. So I can't remember exactly what I made, but I'm sure I made 10, 15, 20,000, something like that. So some other comments and questions here. Hi, Tom. New to your platform and honestly haven't been able to stop watching. Oh, thank you. I am a realtor, which ultimate goal is to become an investor. Bought your book. Any recommendations for me? Well, just listen, read the book completely. Listen, being a real estate agent is not a bad thing because you can immerse yourself. I'll give you a tip as a real estate agent. Lease. Look at leasing. Look at leasing office, industrial, and commercial properties because you'll get 4%, or you can get up to 4%, or you'll split 4% with another realtor. But when somebody like me, I mean, I have 185,000 square feet of rentals, commercial, industrial, office. When I have a vacancy, and thank God I don't have any vacancies right now, I look for other people to bring me somebody. I'll put an ad. If an agent comes, I'll give them 4%. I'll give them 4%. So you bring me a lease that's worth, let's just say a small lease that's, pays, I don't know, say it's whatever, $3,300 a month, roughly, 40 something thousand a year times 3 years. Okay, that's $120,000. I'm going to give you 4% of that. I'm going to give you $4,800 for that. And there's no emotion. It's much quicker than an escrow usually. And it's that quick, because this is the beauty of commercial and industrial property, by the way. Listen, houses are emotional choices. People get, the men, imagine themselves in the garage, playing with their hot rod or whatever they're doing. And the women see the kitchen is a big thing to a lot of women, and vice versa. A lot of good cooks out there. One of my buddies is a great cook. Kitchen's everything to him. But my point is this, like I'm going to show you a hardware store. Actually, I'll show you where I bought a bunch of properties around each other, all commercial, industrial, and this is 35 years ago. Okay, my first one I bought, I was 19. Then I bought all the rest of these probably before I was 25. So my first property was this. This is a retail in the front, industrial in the back. This was kind of an industrial building. This was a dry cleaning, or I should say some sort of a cleaning plant. It was owned by Mission Linen. They're the ones that clean uniforms for nurses and mechanics and people all over. This was a hardware store right here, Waterbury Hardwood. I used to buy hardwood from them when I had my cabinet shop. This is another little building. Even this old house, this little house here, I bought this for 40,000, sold it for 56. I got half of the profit, but this was covered with gas pumps. There were gas pumps just everywhere. This guy was in the gas pump business for whatever reason. He would exchange them out, that sort of thing. You know, there's so many ways to make money. It's absolutely nuts. But my point where I'm going with you, Benzilla, or no, I'm sorry, Angel, you're the realtor. Yeah, Angel, the realtor. Angel, is that when you make a decision to rent, like if I was going to rent this building, or if I own this building, and let's say I got a guy that says, hey, that's perfect, you know, I need a 6,000 square foot warehouse. This is what he's looking at. He's giving it up like this, and he's looking at how far this building is from the freeway, how far this building is from his workers. You know, he has workers maybe working in all directions. He wants to have it in an area that's convenient. Now, some of his workers, he may not care if they quit or not. But the ones that he really wants to take care of, he's going to make sure that the location is close to everyone. And he's a businessman, so he doesn't dick around, you know, making a decision, because that's what business people do. They make decisions quickly. And so he says, he looks at it, okay, 6,000 square feet. It's near everybody that I really care about in the business. I'll take it. Done. Sign the lease, write the check to me. I write the check to you. So very important not to overlook making money on, you know, as an agent doing leases. So look, hey, listen, I would love to see everybody that's in here. You should have my book, but you should get into my webinar. I'm starting to do custom webinars, so sign up for the webinar. Even if you can't be at the webinar on a Thursday night, you can see here, free webinar Thursdays at 7 p.m. You know, and you just go to my website here and go to the upper right-hand corner, and you'll see it right here, webinar. I got to bring this down so you can see it, of course. Golly. Right here. Just click on webinar and register right here. Mentoring survey. Just a couple quick questions, and part of those questions include, do you have my book? And if you don't, that's going to be the first advice you get out of me, is to get my book, because you'll take time to get the book. You can get it on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. And like I say, we got millionaires in the room here from being in my class. And like I said, it's not just me now. It's a very huge group of people that are you know, very intelligent and money makers and similarly motivated as those of you watching. And you know, I don't call it a community because it's a mentorship, and it is a community, but it's a community. You know, people use the word community because it's a way of not saying mentorship, because they don't mentor. So I don't want to ruin it, but we have a community of, I should say, we just have a community of fantastic investors, and that are just super impressive. And believe me, they got what most of you want, which is a profitable deal, and they'll share it with you, and you'll learn from them, and you know, it's available. But you know, you got to be approved, because we don't take anybody no slackers at all. You got to be serious, otherwise you're not getting in, because that's what keeps the class smart. Is I only let smart, you know, motivated people in. So that's on Thursdays, but also, like I say, fill it out, because I do custom webinars. Find, you know, a group of people that want to do it on an afternoon, on a Wednesday or a Monday or a Sunday. I don't care. I'll do it anytime as long as there's enough. I get high. I personally get high off of people that are getting high on the information. People that are making money. People, you know, there's nothing more satisfying than men and women that are starting to achieve their goals, and they're seeing light at the end of the tunnel for retirement, for putting their kids through school. You know, everybody loves their kids. I was just holding my little grandbaby, not more than, you know, half hour before I started the show. And, you know, there's nothing more important than family and friends, right? And real estate will open up, you know, options like you never knew were possible. Well, nobody called in, so I'm a little disappointed about that. But anyways, can you see the live call-in sign? Yeah, I absolutely see it. Oh, well, everybody's so shy. Or you're still at work. You get in trouble. Jason started to say something and changed his mind. Anyways, all right. So look, I guess I'll wrap it up unless I get a phone call. I'm going to call it quits, but I'll be back. Hey, be sure to look at my latest videos. Urge you to watch. I just did one on Pace Morby. Urge you to watch that. I'll take you over there. Well, maybe I won't take you over there. Somebody wrote here, Jason here, I just inherited some money. Oh, hey, that's awesome, buddy. Congratulations. Well, listen, Jason, fill out the mentorship survey and get my book. And I will have a call with you, okay? Because listen, the people that on that point. So look, Jason here, he just inherited some money, which believe me, that's the smartest thing you can do for some people. Is if you have kids that aren't very bright, this is the video. This is my latest video right here. Pace Morby review. Veganomics, I call it, a master class in Veganomics. I think you'll enjoy it. Please watch it. Please comment on it. I don't care if you like me or don't, but please do. I know a lot of people. I know Pace Morby is a really nice guy, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of nice people out there, right? That don't really know exactly what they're doing, and some know exactly what they're doing. So that's your call. So yeah, Jason, definitely whatever you do. Listen, people with inherited money or sudden windfall from a lawsuit or whatever, they are so quickly separated from their money and profits and what could have been. Don't let that happen to you. I would, so you let me know. Okay, Zeddy, do you accept broke people in the mentorship if we read your book? No, not necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. Broke is a relative thing. There's plenty of people that have money that are broke compared to me and others, and I'm broke compared to people that are much richer than I am. So what I will tell you is you got to have some sweat in the game, and if you're broke, then you need to probably concentrate on getting some skills, so to create some worth. You need to be able to make some money. You should have some value. And listen, on that note, by the way, I've got, food parks, I've got offices, I've got all kinds of different businesses that rent from me. And you know what? I would say half of my damn tenants, and I'm nothing against my tenants, I'm very happy and proud of my tenants, to be clear, but are immigrants. Immigrants come in to the country, they see opportunity to work hard and to make money, and they take it. And there's so many of the young people today, and they want to just get rich quick. And guess what? The people that want to get rich quick get screwed and taken advantage very easily because they want to believe the dream that everything's easy, and it's not. It takes effort, and I'm a wealthy guy. And I made my first $1 million in my 20s, and that'd be like making $3 million today, right? In my 20s. But the fun is in building your wealth, but it builds character, and it builds brains, and that's what you need. You need knowledge to be more successful in the future. So Jason's got the book. I'll talk to you. And I work for a company that invests in commercial real estate. That's good, I guess. Jerry Mills wrote to Angelo, mentorship is the next stop. I personally highly recommend it. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Jerry's a fantastic guy, really fantastic guy. Family man, pastor, hard worker, storm chaser. In fact, I'm gonna get a Bobcat. I decided I'm gonna get a track Bobcat. I decided you and Liam are right. You guys are right. It is better. So I'm gonna get a rubber track Bobcat. But yeah, like I say, guys believe me, Tori's in the class. He's new in the class, but Jerry, Liam, Russ, these are millionaires. These are real estate millionaires in the class, or at least, very, very close now, one of them. But you couldn't have better friends. I'm telling you, you couldn't have a better group of peers, and that's what you want. Zeddy, it's not about Zeddy. This is to understand. I don't there's people that have money that don't get in the mentorship. I'll just tell you right now, the criteria isn't money necessarily. It's brains, and I'm telling you, it's street smarts. It's not necessarily book smarts. Okay, don't think you have to be book smart, but you have to be common sense smart. Now, if you don't have any money and you're 30 years old, I'm going to think there's something wrong with you. And I understand you can have a tough break and that sort of thing, but you need to make adjustments to figure out how you can have some money. Because to me, if you're 30 years old and you don't have any money, then you likely, and not saying absolutely, but you likely don't have any discipline and you don't have any skills, or you may have a drug problem, or you may have a problem that gets in the way of you even saving. That's why I'm very, very impressed. If somebody tells me at 30 years old and they've got $100,000, they saved $100,000, that shows discipline. That is like a 90 percentile mark that you're going to make it. If you're 20 years old and you save $20,000, that is impressive. Okay, I got guys that have saved money from their paper route. That shows a hard work ethic and a discipline to save money. Yeah, Angie, glad to see you in there. And who was the one that inherited money? You better come talk to me. And believe me, I ain't after your pocketbook. But you better stay clear of Grant Cardone and Chris Crone, because they're going to want to invest your money. And I think you can do better on your own. Anyways, so, hey, we got a call. I got to take it. Here, I'll take this call. So excited. Hello?
Hey, Tom?
Yeah. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, this is Abel, actually, from the live chat.
Oh, hey, Abel. Yep. So, Abel.
Yeah, so I actually.
You got to remind me. What was your topic? What did you talk about?
Yeah, Laura, the general contractor with the 100,000 saved up.
Yeah, you said you were in. You mean you are a general contractor?
Yeah, I'm a general contractor in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Well, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos, and I actually just bought your book as well.
Okay.
So I'm excited to get started with it. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to have you here. So look, I've been a handy guy. In fact, I started out in a cabinet shop. In fact, if you look at the screen, that's the first building I bought was for my cabinet shop. I guess you know that if you read the book. But, there's things I did that I can't recommend you do them, anybody, but like this little property that I'm showing right now, this is a property I made into like a mother-in-law quarters. I poured this concrete in the back because it had it had a cut in through the sidewalk. For ingress and egress into the backyard, probably for who knows what, maybe a motorhome or something. But I went ahead and poured the slab where you see a car parked there right now, and that's what it was for. And I created a little apartment back here out of the laundry room. I robbed from the laundry room and created a little kitchenette. And this place was making $450 when I bought it. It was making $750 a month later because I'm handy with my hands, just like you. I have some skills. And so I made an asset that was putting off $450 into one that was making, $750. So I increased the income about another, 70%, and that made it worth more to the next person. And so the fact that you got some skills is fantastic. And believe me, there's tons of general contractors that don't know shit about investing. They make terrible decisions. They think they want to build. I built homes. I was building homes that I was making. It looked like I was making about $70,000 a house on $170,000 sale. These were only 17, and they were 1,700 square foot houses selling for $100 a foot. But what I realized quickly is that when I sold 3 lots that took maybe 3 or 4 hours of my time to buy and sell, and I made $60,000, it took me 6 months for me to get a set of prints. I had to get you got to get a construction loan, and that expires in 6 months. And if you don't have it sold in 6 months, you got to extend it. I got everything done and sold in 4 months on the 3 houses that I did build. And that was good money. People are impressed. Geez, you're making $70,000. Well, I really wasn't making $70,000 a house. I was making $50,000 a house, which still was a lot for such a small house. And it was easier to build then, by the way. But the point is I made as much as on buying, getting an architect, getting plans built, going through the bullshit process of getting things approved by the city and, all that other crap. I made as much flipping 3 lots. So building is a mistake. It's a mistake. Because if you're building, you're buying everything new. You're paying, maybe you get a deal on the lot. That's fine. Sell the lot to another builder and let him build it. And there's some instances where it might make sense. I might build a warehouse for one of my tenants that wants to expand. They'll take another 15,000 square feet. I already rent them 15,000, so I might do that because I can. But again, I would much rather buy a 30,000 square foot building and at a bargain and help them move and put them in there. So, what else?
Yeah.
What else is on your mind?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been doing general contracting for about 4 years, I think now,
Okay.
and I'm pretty frugal with my money, and
Hey, you sound like, how old are you? You sound pretty young. How old are you?
yeah, I just turned 28.
Oh,
in
shoot.
October.
Hey, man, you're 28 years old and you saved 100
Yeah.
grand. Yeah. No, you are a good candidate for mentorship. I can tell you right now, you are that's what I look for.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Self-employed,
Yeah,
hardworking, disciplined to save, angry, interested in making more, and smart enough not to be, parted with your money. Which, yes.
Yeah, well, I don't make a lot as a general contractor. I think I make like 50 after taxes, but I save a lot of it because I live pretty below my means.
Yeah.
And then, but I've been approached by this tax guy who sells tax deeds, and he was telling me that I could start in the ghetto, but I was having kind of like
Worst advice
I was just having
ever.
Yeah, I wasn't having a good feeling about it. That's why I haven't invested at all. And then I've been watching your videos, and I'm like, you know what you say sounds pretty legit. Because I've seen the Grant Cardones, and I'm not a fan of those people because I've worked for people like that, and I know how they are. But anyway, that's a different topic. I guess my question is just like, obviously I'm going to read your book, and I would definitely consider joining the program, but. You would just say then just stay away from the ghetto, and that's probably not a good idea with the tax deeds.
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's you with this question. I'm just glad I turned on the YouTube today and did this for you. The person that's inherited some money, the person that's inherited some money. I'm so glad because believe me, inherited wealth or sudden wealth, people get parted with it very quickly. Or even somebody like yourself can take their hard-earned money, and just because somebody's a likable guy, likable person, you know what I mean? It's like see, a gray-haired guy. Oh, he's like grandpa. He's a nice guy. No, he's been a thief since his hair was before his hair turned gray. That's how people that make their money stealing or misleading or taking advantage of people or there's a lot of there's crooks everywhere. There's a sucker born every minute, and there's a fake guru born every minute as well. So it's just so I would tell you that you're not making very much money. If you only make $50,000 a year, I'm not sure what kind of general contracting you do, but you must not be working all the time. So you might see what you can do to increase that a little bit just to make more money. But I'm impressed that you saved the money that you've saved with what you got. And you're smart enough to realize that you don't want to make a stupid decision. So what I would tell you is you've got the book, read the book. If it appeals to you, then get into the, take a webinar. And you'll see I've already kind of given a little bit of a webinar right here, showing you guys what I've done and what I do. That was my first one. There's so much more. I've tons of property now, the kind of stuff that I want everybody to own. But that's what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel comfortable, then run. Okay, run.
Yeah, no, thanks, Tom.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the call. Anybody else out there, feel free. And because things are going to start getting rough for a lot of people. I'm already seeing. Are you seeing the work dry up a little bit there? Are you still on?
Yeah, actually, I was pretty surprised that I got this last job I'm working on right now.
Remodel?
One.
Are you doing remodels?
Yeah, it's a remodel for a condo, and everyone else, all my subs have been calling me up. And I always had to beg them to get them on my jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I'm a really small GC. Yeah, I'm a very small GC. Obviously, I don't make a lot. After net profit is about 50 last year, so I'm a very small GC. But I've had pretty good projects.
You got to start somewhere. So, but on that note, I do millions of dollars in remodels, probably every year. And I can tell you that, I keep people busy year round. People that are self-employed, I keep them busy year round. And unfortunately, the air conditioners are the ones I resent the most. Okay, the AC guys, because they're the most expensive. But the plumbers, but I can tell you, like, you get a sense of it, just exactly what Abel just said, is when your subs start calling you for work, things are drying up. And that's what I've had. And I've got, I had a tile guy, by the way, that I was calling, and he was going to start a job, and then he had to leave. But I think what happened was the guy that was working for him quit to go where there's more work, or maybe he went back to Mexico or something. I don't know what happened. But, that's the other thing is it's double-edged sword. When things start getting tight, people quit you because they got to go find some money. They got to find employment. And maybe somebody else promises them a better deal. And so I totally relate. And I would tell you, as a general contractor, make some flyers and contact people that have been in their homes a while and that want to, that are due for a revamp, because they're in their homes. If they're in their homes they bought in the last, 10 years or so, the interest rate's going to be pretty favorable for them to stay. And they're highly likely to remodel, and because they're not going anywhere. So, but yeah, well, good, man. Thanks for calling. I'm going to take the next call, but I appreciate it. I'll look forward to seeing your mentorship survey, and we'll have a phone call, and I'll talk to you in person. In fact, we'll do a FaceTime if you have an iPhone, and I'll show you one of my remodels that I'm working on right now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, and that goes for anybody.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, thanks. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, who do we got here?
Hey, Tom, it's Ricky.
Ricky, where do we know each other?
Yeah, I believe
Where are we from?
Sorry, I just came across I actually commented on your live today.
Oh, okay.
Earlier on Instagram. Yeah, I just came across your channel a couple days ago, and I've watched just about pretty much almost every video, and I got about probably hour and a half left of your audiobook.
Oh, good for you. Well, good.
And
I appreciate that.
Yep. I was just calling I was thinking about joining your mentorship, but I literally know, pretty much just basics of what your videos have said, and I just wanted to call and kind of get your advice. I also have I'm living paycheck to paycheck, not really a lot of money.
Sorry. Well, let's talk about that. If you want to be open, we can talk openly.
Yeah.
So, what do you make a year?
Well, probably like 30,000, maybe. I just graduated high school a couple years ago, and I'm just working. I just turned 21, and I'm just doing junk removal with one of my buddies. His uncle owns a business, and I don't know. The paycheck to paycheck life is not.
How does your buddy? The junk removal? How does that guy do? Does he make a lot of money?
Well, his uncle who owns business, yeah, he does. Decent off of it. He also is part of a realting firm. But me and my buddy, we just make, $18 an hour, and
sure. But my point is
40-hour week.
Look at what he's doing. Okay. Look at people that are successful. Mm-hmm. That's your role model right there for local working, right? I'll be a real estate role model for sure. But I'm talking about for working and having a skill. That's your real estate. That's your working role model for now. Okay. So you look at him and see what he's doing, and it may be something like, that ain't what I want to do. So, getting a skill is important. If you can get a skill, and I don't mean service industry. I don't mean, waiting tables. And I'm not even saying that can't take you far at some point. It can. If you have the discipline, of course, you're a bartender. I see bartenders. I've owned a bar. And, I've seen bartenders that are very charismatic. And I can tell you, I had I had my dad's ex-girlfriend. She was like a stepmom to me. She told me, she said, I've worked in, she was a waitress. And she said, I've, waitressed at the bowling alley and the cafes, and I've waitressed at the country club. She said, the only difference is the tips are a lot bigger at the country club. They
Right.
bigger meals, bigger tickets, make a lot more money. Same shitty job. Okay. And so you have to think in those kinds of terms, and it's just common sense. So just look around where people are making money or find, like I love construction, right? So, I can do just about every aspect of construction. There's people that can do it better than me, but there's most people can't do this diverse of stuff. I mean, I can do everything, but it's because I've been around it. You learn a lot of it by osmosis, just because you hire so many people, and then, and I've been in cabinet maker, that makes you probably like the most precision of all of the trades when it comes to carpentry. The cabinet maker is like the machinist of carpentry. So, but it wouldn't hurt you to, learn, if you could be a plumber's assistant. I mean, I got a plumber that, man, when he gives me a bill, I feel like it's a bill from a lawyer. It's like I'm afraid to open the damn thing. You know what I mean? And I got rid of him, but
Yeah.
I have good plumbers too. I mean, he was a great plumber, but I'm not going to pay a plumber like a lawyer. But there are guys that when they're done underneath the sink, everything, it looks like a work of art. It's beautiful. So I do appreciate them taking time to do a good job. But hey, by the way, if you just got here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Young guys like who I'm talking to right now, and others that have called in, you're the ones that I want to save. I just want to shortcut you to success, and
Right.
it's totally doable, and you'll see in the mentorship, everything I talk about is very specific. Every property that you see on the screen, anything I show you, unless I maybe did an assignment, you can go back in the history, go back 40 years, you'll see that everything I say is true. I've owned it. Most things I've owned in my name, Tom McKay. Originally, now of course everything I have is in multiple LLCs and different things like that. But so listen, you're doing the right thing. Read the book and fill out the mentorship survey. I'll have a call with you.
Okay.
I'll have a call with you. I don't care. Right. I may not. If you don't have enough money to pay the tuition to get in, I'm going to just kind of direct you so you can make some money, and then you can take that money and then maybe you utilize that to get into the mentorship. But you got to have some sweat in the game. I don't let anybody in for free. I would be doing you a disservice otherwise. So, but anyways, anything else you want to ask?
No, I appreciate it. I really appreciate your YouTube, and thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hey, I do want to say something along the junk business, just so you know. That when you see that junk business, a lot of people don't realize how much money there is. Like when you might see like some big machines and different things. Well, those machines are operating for somebody somewhere else. So you can actually pull a motor out of a machine, or you might pull a pump or something off a machine. It's more like think about a car that's been in a wreck and the rear end's busted out, but the engine is still like new. There's parts within machines and devices of all kinds. You can pull that. You can put electric motor for whatever it is, on eBay. Put the serial number on it, or not the serial number, but the part number, and somebody will punch in that part number, and they'll be so damn happy that they can buy this part from you rather than order it when maybe it's not even available anymore. So no, there's a fortune in that stuff. There's a fortune in that stuff. So just be aware that you have the opportunity to do a bit of what we call a side hustle by just, if you can find some, if you can cherry pick some of the junk stuff. Like I say, I was talking earlier, I was telling the gal about making money. People go to garage sales and they know exactly, they clean out the tools, or they buy, my friend's daughter was buying purses, and she was flipping purses. She could have, $100,000 worth of purses in her room. Purses are expensive. They're crazy. So, but hey, I appreciate you calling. I look forward to seeing you in the.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right. So I think we'll wrap it up. And anyways, if there's anybody else out there, be quick. Otherwise, again, I appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, comment under the video. If there's something you'd rather see, you let me know. I do the webinar every Thursday, and you should come in. You should come in for that. It's going to be cameras on. I don't let anybody, if you don't want to talk face to face, I don't even want you in the room unless you have a reason. If you can't do it, but otherwise, fill out the webinar, and certainly I do custom webinars too now. Like I say, I just did the staple as the Thursday night, but my goal is simple. Is to steer you clear of the frauds that defraud people. I had a father that a great, super nice man, but he was gullible. He trusted people. And sure enough, he got screwed out of $20,000 in the 80s, and that was a lot of money to my dad at that time. It was called Encino Elite Car Wash, and I will never forget the name. I'd still love to find out who took advantage of him. So I'll say goodbye here, and thanks for watching.